Oh, we're live out there. Live action, as they used to say all the time. The Turtle Man said. What's up,
Oh,
everybody? Thanks for everybody dropping in. Man, alive. We have got a lineup tonight. We got that old man, old haired man, Randy on the show. I can never say that right. Why can't I get that right? How you doing, Randy?
Just say Randy old gray hair.
Oh, God, I'm just gonna say Randy. Hey,
That'll work.
Randy on the show. How you doing, Randy?
I'm great tonight.
Man, alive. I know it. You've had a great few days out on the lake too, and so hey, we may hit on some of that tonight too,
Okay.
if you want to.
That'd be
Here we
good.
got the hooker in the house. I saw Mr. Steve. You done
of
got
course.
you a new little sponsor out there you got going on, and that's
Oh yeah, I
awesome.
found the very best stringer ever. Tried it out. I
You
think
stole my
amazing.
sponsor, didn't you? You just stole it. We're just sharing them, right? We're just sharing them. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. I seen your video on that. That's pretty cool. That's an
yeah.
awesome
That
deal.
fish wanted to get out of there, didn't he?
Yeah, you did. Hey, congratulations to that, man. There's just all kind of things happening. It's springtime. The fish are starting to bite, and whoo, everything's going on. That's great. So we appreciate everybody dropping in and all. We have tonight is going to round up our nights of having the sponsors on that have sponsored us at the gathering, and we have invited our guides on tonight. We got Mr. Dan with Goober Time Guide Service. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. And hey, one of the men that inspired me when I got started about 6 years ago, Mr. Joe Jellison, that fishes down here on the Tennessee River. How you doing, Joe?
Good, Daryl. Thanks for having me on here.
Hey, I appreciate it. You guys, hey, thought about us enough to do a sponsorship with the gathering, and we always want to try to give back and try to say thank you. And I know people like to watch and learn pointers and stuff from guys like you that know so much. Just to let you know, we were going to have Jeremy on tonight, and also Creole Guide Service, and he texted me and said he's running late. He don't know if he's going to make it. I said, hey, if you can get in here anytime, come on. And then we had Aaron that also fishes down on the Tennessee River. He was going to be on, but man, he had too big of a tree growing next to his house, and that storm the other day blew one down and man crashed his house. Did you see that, Joe?
I did not, but I know there was some pretty wicked storms on Friday.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He's kind of up and down, and they actually had to get a crane to get it off. It was such a big tree. Bob was showing me pictures. He lives right next to Bob's shop.
yeah. Luckily, Bob's shop was okay.
Yeah, I think he actually stayed in Bob's place a couple of nights there until
Oh
they got
wow.
something going
Oof.
on. So yeah, it was so structurally damaged they didn't want him back in house. I wouldn't want to be in that house. A big oak tree fell through it anyway.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
yeah. So before we get started, let me say hello to chat. Chat, we'll say we'll take questions and stuff like that tonight. But to start off, we're going to talk with these guys and talk about their stuff and what they do and how long they've been doing it and stuff like that. But we'll say hello to Mr. Sappy. How you doing? Appreciate you coming in. Miss V, how you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Let's see, I've got two stands. So what's going on here? We have some great guys in here tonight. East Tennessee Whiskers, how you doing, sir? Old Boy Outdoors, and there's Burrito. I don't know her. She must be new at this. I've never seen Burrito catfishing, lady. You ever heard of that one, Randy?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. And if I
Yeah.
don't say yes, I'll be sleeping by myself tonight on
You'll
the
be in
couch.
the doghouse, won't you?
Yeah, I think I know her.
And there's my number one lady right there. The first person that I always say this, first person that ever put a comment on one of my videos when I put it up. My first video I ever put out. Miss Uptown Chrissy Brown said hello. All right. Hey. It's a family show. Get out of there. See, always got to get in on the picture there. Cody Griffin. Hey, buddy. How you doing? You guys, Cody is me and him have hooked up a few times lately and had a great time. And that's me and him and Randy. We'll talk about a little later on. Got together, man. We was killing it out there last. What was that? Thursday, Friday. Last Friday. 17 fish on the boat.
That's
And,
impressive.
we had one in the 40s and one in the 30s and several in the 20s. So we had a great day.
It was an
say.
amazing day.
Yeah. So, and then Cody went back out Sunday and slammed them again. And I think you went out dragging some and got several yourself too, didn't you? Reed?
I went out bumping.
Bumping. Oh, man, bumping. You bumped your head. You go out bumping after you found out how to catch the big fish, and then you go bumping.
Well, the problem is,
You're the problem. Go ahead.
didn't want to drive all the way to Chattanooga or Watts Bar Dam, somewhere like that, and we don't have the fish down up here that y'all got down there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you might find one every once in a while, but hey, we had a great time doing that. But anyway, like I said, we got Joe and Dan on here tonight, and we appreciate you guys coming up and what you guys done for the gathering. Joe has been a sponsor of the gathering since year one, and I really appreciate that. This is our 4th year of the gathering, and I'll tell you what, I am looking for lots and lots of people there. I've been talking to a lot of different people that's coming, and I will say this much. I spoke with Steve of Monster Rod Holders last night, and a lot of you know his warehouse got flooded, and when it got flooded, a lot of his stuff that was in packages was underwater because he was 2 miles from the river, but it came up 3 feet into his house and his warehouse there. And so he can't sell it because the water, of course, messed up the labels and turned it dingy, and you can't read it. So he is loading all that stuff up and he's bringing it to the gathering. So he said it's gonna be a lot of stuff. He said all he asked was if people could make donations while they were there. And we know this is a free event. He said if they can, he said, because I want to give this much out, so hopefully they'll be able to do that. But from what he's saying, he's bringing a lot of stuff, and we've got so much other stuff. I don't know what we're going to do with it all. So all of our sponsors, corporate sponsors that has stuff like that, we asked them to give door prizes, and this year has been phenomenal. So we appreciate that. But Mr. Dan, I'm going to start with you. This is your first year with us, and I appreciate you coming on. I hit you up, and you went, absolutely, I'll do it. And I appreciate that. There was no hesitation. He said he'd absolutely sponsor the gathering. That's what I do. I get out and I hunt sponsors. And I told him what it was all about and that we wanted to get the word out about him. And so, if you will, would you tell everybody about when you got started and how long you've been doing it, and just a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been fishing on the James a long time up here in Virginia, and tons of kayak fishing, and got really heavy into tournaments and online tournaments and things like that, and just started to kind of take the fish for granted. Always wanted the bigger fish, and these more medium-sized fish, the 30s, 40s, 50s. I always wanted that 60 or 70, and just started to take the river for granted. So I kind of took a step back and evaluated everything, and that kind of coincided with COVID. I had wanted to do my captain's license for a long time, and I wasn't going to guide without having that. I wanted to do things the right way, so they finally started putting some courses online, so it aligned with my schedule a little bit better. I only had to take 2 days off instead of trying to cut out as being a school teacher for 2 weeks in the middle of February. Didn't really work for me with the traditional schedules there. So got that rolling about 2 years ago and just trying to build it up ever since.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's funny that both you and Joe are school teachers. I don't know what is this about school teachers and guides. I don't know. So
yeah, it's
They
a good
like
schedule.
teaching. They like teaching
The
people.
whole summer's off.
Yeah, you get the whole summer off, and I can be out of the building by 3 every day, so I can run trips pretty much every weekday evening as well.
yeah, that's
I actually
great.
left teaching for a little bit when I got my guide license and had to come back just to free up some more time for that.
Right.
Hey, and if you want to know whether Goober Time Dan catches fish or not, we get to watch him quite frequently on 2 stands on stand day, and he's always putting them on fish.
We're trying. This river makes us look all right sometimes.
There you go. And you guys have a different way of fishing up there. He fishes. I don't know. Did you say you did your guide service on the James? I didn't. I don't remember if you did or
Yeah,
not.
primarily. Yeah, I've
Uh-huh.
kind of expanded a little bit into the upper James for some smallmouth, and there's a lot more flathead up there. I do a whitewater raft, kayak stuff, and do a little bit of crappie, do a little bit of striper. So we have a lot of opportunity around here.
Right. And so you guys, like I say, are a little different than what we are. We fish primarily, not totally, but a lot with the skipjack down here and catch them. Of course, this year I don't know, man. It's skipjack. They must have packed their suitcases last year about April and said, "The heck with this. We've had so many people catching us. They went somewhere else because, man, it's like that ought to be the highest price bait they are out there. If somebody's selling it in Tennessee right now, or in Chattanooga anyway. You got to go either up or down the river to get anything. But we fish with that, and of course, bluegill and whatever. In Tennessee, as long as you catch a species of fish, then it's legal to keep. You can fish with it. So we might fish with a few. Some people call them specks. Some people call them crappie. But anyway, those are some good baits too.
Largemouth.
Yeah, no, we just catch them spots. See, fishermen don't care if you catch them and get rid of them.
Oh, okay.
So we're just catching spots. We don't want to get nobody mad out there about, fishing with a largemouth or anything like that. So, but you guys actually catch your fish differently than we do. We, like I said, we can use a cast net and we can use hooks, but you guys use a different way to catch even than that, right?
Yeah, for the most part. We just got through about a month and a half to 2 month phase where we had everything coming up from the bay. So we had a ton of white perch. That was a big primary bait. And very similar to skipjack, we had some hickory shad. And, it's funny. A couple of years ago, I have a sister in Knoxville. So I was fishing the Tennessee River in the morning and caught a bunch of skipjack and brought some back for bait. And it was the same exact thing. Put it side by side with a hickory shad. Just one's landlocked and one travels in from the bay. So we do have that kind of bait from time to time, but that's pretty much moved out, and we're back to gizzard shad. And easiest way to catch them is in the gill net. So
right, yeah,
that's an awesome tool.
Have a pretty cheap. You just buy a certain type license, right, to be able to use a gill net up there.
Yep, best $9 you spend every year.
Yeah. So if anybody's going up there to fish the James River and you just go grab a gill net and go, I'm gonna catch bait like they do. Always remember, you've got to have that license up there or you're going to get in trouble. So,
and always remember, they got a lot more experience than you do, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also funny with the gill nets is those expire at the end of every calendar year, no matter when you buy it. If you buy it December 30th, it's expired the next day, but your fishing license, whenever you buy it, you get the full year. So they kind of handle those differently.
It used to be the same up here in Tennessee, and they are up here. I live in Georgia. But up in Tennessee, it used to be the same thing. In February was when license renewed, no matter when you bought it. But now they actually have changed it to where, when you buy them is when they come due again. So that's a good thing. So
yeah, it's always the first thing I buy every year is my gill net license because that's one you do not want to be without.
Yeah. So
get your money's worth out of
it. Every trip.
Yeah. And so how many people do you generally take out on your boat as far as how many can you take out?
Yeah, so I do the kayaks. I do a little bit of whitewater rafting. On the raft, I can take up to 3 kayaks. I have 2 additional pretty nice kayaks I take people with. And then I just upgraded to an Angler Quest pontoon boat. And I've taken parties as big as 8 and brought a deckhand along. So that was kind of a business move to expand a little bit. I kept having to turn down some bigger parties and decided to kind of upgrade a little bit. And it's been rewarding.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Hey, the more you can get on the boat, the more you can make in that day, for sure.
And there's just so much room on that thing. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. So you guys also do something different. And hey, if Randy and Steve, if you got any questions too also, but you guys have to fish with the tide. We rely on the current of how we do it. We want to hit it when it's the fastest. But you guys actually rely on how the tide comes in and out, right?
That's right. Yeah, we have about an 11-hour tide cycle. So from high tide all the way down is about 5.5 hours. All the way back up is about another 5.5. So every 11 hours, the river completely cycles around, basically.
Yeah, and now how does that affect you? I know, like with us, we want, we look at it and like I'll watch the ours. I watched the flow and see when it said it's going to be at its highest, and as it's coming up, I'm planning my day by that, and so how is it, y'all? Is it when it's coming in or going out? How do you plan on with the tide like that?
You know, over the years, we've kind of developed techniques and patterns based on wherever the tide is. And it's just something we have to keep an eye on all day. There's some ramps we can't even use unless the tide's in. You know, it runs out and it's just complete mud. So we have to be careful with that as well. But, you know, the water changes about 3.5 feet throughout that tide cycle. So it's like any traditional river while it's flowing. It does pick up towards the middle of the tide and then kind of slacks back off. But you know, at some point it changes. So you have to get on your patterns quick and sometimes just as fast as you find when they're gone because the river turns around and starts going the other way. Yeah. So you've always got to be on your toes, always got to be willing to change up tactics and really rely on things that you've tried in the past and had success with.
All right. That's awesome. So, like, do you have, like I said, a certain way? I know a lot more about Joe, but like in the morning time, do you have a certain thing you like to do more than if the tide's coming in or out or whatever, or is it just according to what the tide does?
Yeah, it's just one extra variable, you know. It's that 11-hour tide cycle, so it's not like every morning the tide's going to be in the same location. It's throughout the week it changes, so right. It kind of rolls along. So you just you almost play off the tide more than anything else. That morning bite's typically always good, no matter what's going on, but. You know, there's just certain ways to fish certain spots depending on what's going on with everything, really. The tide, the sun, everything. It's just one more thing to keep track of. But that's why the James can be such a beast to figure out sometimes. And even people with a lot of experience can struggle out there sometimes.
Absolutely. It's funny with us when we're looking at the flow, and I can watch that. Especially like if I'm going to fish a tournament or something, I'll watch it real close. Mm-hmm. And I'll see, okay, so this is the time that they're going to up that flow real hard. So I want to make sure that's when I'm where I want to be at whenever that flow gets to it. And I'll be doggone every single time when I've got that figured out. They've done it the same way for 3 days. That day that tournament comes, they change it, right? Yeah, it'll tell you what the average is going to be for the next day. But you never know where that high flow is going to be in there. They may go the same for 3 days, and then that day that you're relying on it, you go, okay, that's exactly what it's going to be. They'll change it up on you, make you look so bad.
Man, that sounds like a Daryl excuse right there. That sounds like a tournament Daryl right there.
All right, I'll tell you this much. That's okay. If you know about fishing and fishing on rivers, Joe will let you know the same thing, that you watch that flow a lot of times and watch the current.
Yeah, they usually drop the flow on the weekends because people aren't using much power. So unless you have, you know, a good amount of rain, it'll keep it consistent from what they had in the week. But usually weekends they always drop it a little lower.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. And they'll change that where the high flow is on you too. That's the frustrating part is
whenever you're fishing the very starting of the Tennessee River, the lake that I'm on, we don't have much flow.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Hey, that might be, I don't know, that might be a good thing. Then you just rely on knowing where they're at and stuff. Because with us, it doesn't mean you're not going to catch a fish because when the flow's down, but you can guarantee you when that flow starts kicking up to its highest point, you'll get a little more active like that. So anyway, but I wish you could come to the gathering and down here. It's a really great fun time, and we have hundreds of, over 100 people now that comes to it, and a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that. But I'll say this: I appreciate you stepping in. I appreciate you letting us do the 10% off, guys. If any of you guys want to book a guide service with Mr. Dan with Goober Time, I'm going to let him tell you how to get a hold of him. But when you do that, you tell him that you give him the TSO10, and he'll take 10% off of your guide service. And you can just turn around and hand that back to the first mate that's helping out or something. That helps you out either way. But we
always
appreciate
take care of your first mate.
That's right, always, buddy. Hey,
they can make or break the show.
There's been times when I got out on a boat that I handed the first bait my tip at the beginning instead of the end, buddy. Especially when you're out deep sea fishing. I promise you, I'm going to be the guy that hands the first mate the money first.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of times I have Stan 3 out there with me, and he works real hard, and we think alike about the river, so it just makes everybody's experience a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
we're
got
rolling down the river, he's baiting up hooks, and we just get on fish faster and
Yep.
break down patterns faster. It just helps.
yeah, and if you got two people that's thinking alike and they know each other, they'll start doing things before the captain ever has to tell them to. Me and Woody have fished together so much. I mean, and we don't take people out fishing, of course, but we'll take them out for fun, but we don't have guide service. But we know what each other does and all that, so it's really cool. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate you. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so we can be found on pretty much any social media, or our website, goobertimeguideservice.com is probably the best place to go and pick up some information. And you can even reserve a trip right on there, see our calendar, see what we have open, and see what we have to offer.
Yeah, and Dan is a school teacher. So here in about 2-3 weeks, you're going to be out of school and you'll be going every day, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Right when June hits, I'll be ready to rock and roll. We'll just be wrapping up spawn there in the next week or two after that, and I actually do a big trip up north to fish with my dad for a week for northern pike. So as soon as I get back from that, it's going to be hot and heavy action.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Hey, Joe, I put you in here and you probably think, well, good Lord, is he ever going to get time? I just do a lot of mouth running there.
No, it's fine. I'm watching the Reds as well, so it's
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Dar, I really appreciate you doing the gathering. That's a great thing that you started doing a few years back, and I think it's a great way to, get the catfish community more involved and kind of brings everybody together, in one place, and it's always good to see everybody.
Yeah. It is. It's really fun. Saturday is just a really good day to get together, and everybody just gets together, eats and sits and talks to each other, and people that you never knew, you can get to go speak to them. Guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun games and everything you put on. So yeah, I think it's definitely. I'm glad to see that it's getting bigger every year.
Yeah, it is. It's growing every year, and that's great. I say it was just a dream that I thought of, and we did it, and man, everybody just feels at home, and that's what we want to do. But talk about your guide service. It's called Chat Cats.
Yeah, so I started guiding, I think it was 2018, end of 2018, beginning of 2019, and kind of what Dan did. I got the captain's license, and I actually ran a few trips before doing the license just to see if it was something I really wanted to do, and then was like, yeah, I could do this, and guiding's probably the perfect thing to do as a school teacher because it's a really good kind of side job, and you get your breaks, you get your summers and, and whatnot, and you got your weekends. So I feel like it's a really good part-time job to have being a teacher. So there's actually me and two other guys with Scenic City Fishing Charter, that are teachers. So we all kind of have the same schedule. But no, yeah, I started doing it, like I said, 2019, and I'm a little more, not just catfish, but I do a little bit of everything. I do crappie in the late winter, early spring, and I like doing the live bait bass fishing as well. So I kind of expanded my horizons a little bit than just with the catfish, even though I consider the catfishing more my cup of tea, but I feel like it makes me a little more marketable when I can offer other types of fish.
Yeah, that's sort of a mixed bag fishing. You
I just feel like
together.
Yeah, because the mixed bag allows me to, like with the spawn coming up, it allows me to focus more on the bass at that point when the catfish are doing their thing. And so I feel like, and it kind of reduces the stress on me a little bit too. Not having to, I got to get all the bait now. I mean, Dan knows, like, when you're teaching all week and it's a Friday evening, you're like, oh, I got a trip on Saturday and Sunday. Well, I don't have any bait right now. So you gotta kind of get it that night before, and it can be a little stressful. But doing the mixed bag kind of allows you to kind of just take your time when you start the trip, and you can kind of keep what you want and use it as bait. Like you guys were talking about spotted bass. I mean, I've I've been using spotted bass more than anything this year,
Yeah.
especially. Um, skipjack have been pretty hard to get for whatever reason. I think it's just weather's been really finicky this year. Um, but yeah, I just it's a really good thing for me to be doing, being a teacher, and I really enjoy it. Um, and I really kind of got into it really because of my YouTube videos. I had several people saying, "Hey, would you consider doing trips?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean that does sound like a good thing to do, given my teaching job. I get breaks and everything. I think it was a really good setup for me."
Yeah.
So I typically guide on Nickajack and sometimes Chickamauga, but Nickajack is more my home body, um, where I fish, and so really enjoy it.
Yeah. And like I say, the thing that I like to see is the way you do. Like in the morning, you'll start out fishing for the smallmouth with the live bait,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then you may switch over to what you call the free lining, and then go anchor. So it's not like you're just taking the guy out and you're just anchoring up and trying to do this. You'll do three different
Yeah,
things, and that's pretty cool.
yeah. My philosophy with guiding is, we try to get the big fish, but I like the action more than anything. As long as the rods are bending down and and all that, there's not a whole lot of complaining that goes on in the
Right.
boat, even if you're getting small fish. But yeah, I almost prefer the quantity over the quality if I
Yeah.
had to really kind of
Yeah.
pick it. But I mean, we usually do get good quality. It all ends up working out usually.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. That's the thing is you just the way you fish, you don't know which way you're actually fishing with is going to bring that big one on the boat.
yeah, so you just, I mean, Dan probably would tell you too. Like you do the milk run, you run, you hit the spots that have produced and are usually more consistent, and just hit all the spots, and sometimes you can branch out and do some random things. That's always fun because it's the it's the what if type thing, right? What if this happens, or if we get a big fish here, and so
Yeah.
um,
A lot of stressing goes out with you guys wanting to make sure to put fish on the boat. So I know that just from talking to you. I mean, trying to make sure you.
yeah, it can be, but I think especially with scenic city fishing charters, I think what really helps us is that we just fish so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's just times where you know sometimes you're not going to get the big fish, and it doesn't happen all the time. But
Yeah.
when they see that you're working hard for it, that's what makes them come back. I feel like the clients is they want to see that you're busting your butt and doing all that you can, to put them on fish. And but at the end of the day, you can't control it, so you can only do what you know and do your best. So it actually gave me a lot of anxiety the first couple years when I was a guide, but the more I've been doing it, the more I'm just kind of like, I know what I'm capable of. I know, that I'm good at what I do, but you can't. I mean, you only do so much.
Right.
So
Well, that
but
helps. Yeah, it helps. What
and you
there's.
can always discount, and that's where for me it's like my main job is a teacher, and if I feel like it's a bad trip, I'll just discount my clients. So I feel like I'm not losing any business type thing for me. For me it's like if it's a bad trip, I'll knock off $100 or something, 150 if I feel like it just wasn't up to my standard or whatever. And but then they come back saying, no, this was a really good trip. We really enjoyed it. And then they surprise you, and they pay you full price.
Yeah.
So I mean it, but yeah, it's I've actually gotten a lot better dealing with the whole pressure things
Yeah.
of it than I used to.
Yeah, there's with the Scenic City deal. There's what, 4 of you guys, I think, right?
Actually, I think let's see.
Aaron came
I
on.
think there's like 6 of us, 7
Yeah.
of us now. But yeah. So Chat Cats is my own business. That's the YouTube, and I do the chartering with that. But Scenic City, I'm more like an independent contractor with them. So I'll do a few trips with them, but I usually book my own trips.
Right.
But Richard Sims, who's the owner of Scenic City, will book me a few here and there. But
And there's some good guys. I mean,
oh yeah,
and that's a good thing too. You guys can talk amongst yourself and figure out some things too that help. So,
and I can talk on behalf of Aaron. Aaron and I are similar too, but Aaron's more of your big trophy cat fisherman. You know, he's all in on the go big, go home type mentality, and you know, so we all kind of have our, I guess, on the Scenic City fleet, we all have our specialties, sort of say.
right.
You know, but Aaron's definitely, I'd say, one of the best in the Southeast. I'd
Yeah.
say.
Absolutely. I mean, he chases the big fish and catches a lot of big fish also.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent with it, and he's always he's usually, you know, he's on the bite pretty consistently.
Yeah.
So.
And he doesn't do another job. He is a
He's full time. So people like me and Dan, I'm sure Dan could probably piggyback me off this, but like, I mean, I know for me, it gets a little stressful when you're not fishing during the week and you have a trip on the weekend. You're kind of like, what's the river going to do? Oh, they've dropped the current, or hey, you know, they've increased the current. How is that going to impact, you know, the river? And but a lot of it just comes with experience and with time. You know, the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get confident as far as knowing what to do. And I probably say that's the biggest thing as a fishing guide is being confident. Because when you're confident, the sky's the limit. You can almost do anything. You feel like you're Superman in a way, you know, but you just, you know, it's that resilience and that grit type mentality, I guess, when you're confident. So I think that, I mean, Dan, would you agree with that? Probably confidence being one of the bigger things as a guide.
Yeah, I used to get really worked up about it too, because I mean, one thing I found out pretty quick is that even though people come out and they know it's the James River and there's pressure because of that usually my expectations are higher than theirs. You know,
Sure.
I'm wanting to put them on that 50 or 60 pounder every trip, which isn't realistic, but you know, a lot of people are very happy with a 20, 30, 40 pounder. And I've had a lot of groups of kids where they've caught a 5 pounder and they're ecstatic, and I'm like, you just wait, because we're gonna have a good time. And then when you relax like that, it seems like the day just starts to roll. So, and then the people that come out and they're the trophy fishermen and they want to know where to go for their tournament, and those are the guys where the trips are hard, or they know better than you, or whatever. But I just try and do my thing as if I was out trying to find the biggest fish I could find every time, or I get a lot of eater trips too. So
yeah, I think the eater trips are in some ways the most fun. Well, not I mean, it's fun, but I feel like they're the more relaxing trips because you're just filling up your live well and they're taking them home and they're very happy with that. But when you have someone who's like, hey, I really want that 60 plus, you're like, yeah, we'll definitely work for it for sure. But what's really frustrating is when they say, hey, it's the month of June, and they're like, yeah, we wanted 60 pounds. Like, maybe you want to book like in the spring or fall or winter time. If you really want that true 60, but you know, but it's all good. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, like I said, it's a good kind of side hustle type thing for me. And
well, you and I, Joe, have talked about that. We'll catch a 25 pounder, and you got so used to catching the bigs. We got to realize and quit acting like it's not a big fish in front of people, because a lot of people, that's a great fish, you know.
No, it is.
Totally got so spoiled to them. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is that of where you're fishing. Like Tennessee River, I'd say like a 20, 25, even 30 is going to be your average size of big catfish.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure it's like that for the James too. You know, a lot of those bigger rivers, 20, 30 pounders are pretty average size for big catfish.
Mhm.
you're gonna catch at least one pretty much every time you
Yeah,
go.
pretty much. Yeah, there's a couple times where I've had some unders that, you know, like some fish under that, but usually for me it's usually like I'll go anywhere from 10 to 15 trips in a row with the fish 20 pounds or bigger. And then I'll have that one trip where it's like, oh, our biggest was like maybe 12, maybe 10 pounds or something, or even smaller. But then usually the day after that, it's like, oh, yep, we're back to like, oh, we got a 28, we had a 34, you know? So it's just, I think that's probably my ratio, I'd say. Usually like every 10 to 15 trips, you know, I'll be on a hot streak with that. And then it's like, oh, well, then you got that one day.
Time to change strategy.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, can't control what the weather's doing. And, but yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Are you fully booked next week and next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend I'm booked.
The
I
reason
do
I, the reason
go
I'm
ahead.
asking is because of the gathering and all. I'm sure there are some people coming down that might be interested in hollering at you.
Yeah, I'm booked up next Saturday and Sunday.
He does it every time.
Yeah, I do. But I'll be sure to stop at the gathering for a little bit and hang out with you guys. But it's funny, like I'm kind of in a different season in my life now too, because like my kids are involved in everything, and so I don't actually fish as like hard as I used to. And it's really just because like I got 3 kids and they're in baseball, Adeline's in gymnastics, you know, Kaylee's doing her band stuff, you know, like she has a concert tomorrow. So it's, you know, and you know, I've picked up running again. Like I did a marathon this past weekend in Cincinnati, and so I've actually kind of started doing other stuff just besides fishing. Um, you know, and but yeah, I think I'm only running like I think right now I only got like 6 or 7 trips on the calendar for June, and I'll get more, but it's just I don't stay nearly as booked out like months in advance like I used to. So, and we got family vacations, and you know, I think we're going to Myrtle Beach in June, and then I'm going to Orlando in July for ICAST. Then I'm going to Philly as well in July. So yeah, it's you know, stay pretty busy.
Well, that's good. You got young kids. You got to enjoy them and not just
Oh yeah, I mean,
wear yourself
100%.
out like that.
Yeah,
Or
I
you'll
can't.
miss it. Ask me how I know. I worked while my kids was coming up. I thought I had to make every dime out there, and I missed a lot of their childhood. Now, I'm not trying to be
No, I mean it's
you know what
really
I'm saying. It's
yeah.
you're gonna miss it if you don't.
That's one of the reasons why I got out of coaching wrestling too. Was
Right.
just like I was missing their stuff. I was like, yeah, I've invested in other children for so long. I got to invest in my own, you know, and I think they were realizing that. So,
Yeah, think about that every time too, because my kids are grown and I
mhm.
missed out on so much. And you know, I'm sitting here now. My daughter had a baby this morning, and I'm sitting here, and I probably should have loaded up today and went and seen my grandson, but you know, we're going to go down Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I still don't put priority where it should be a lot of times.
Yeah, you sort of
Yeah, it's
locked
very
up on Saturday though.
yeah, it's very important for kids to see that you're invested in them. I've seen that. I mean, just my own kids seeing that, hey, dad's here, you know, and it's really important, you know,
Absolutely.
the
Good for
sacrifice you got to
you.
make.
Good for you. So, and guys, also with Joe, he agreed to do the if you guys want to book a trip with Joe, if you use TSO10, he'll give you 10% off. And I appreciate so much every sponsor this year that we have gotten. I wanted to try to see if they would do it, and they did. But every sponsor that we have out there, corporate sponsor that we have that has a business, has done that. So anything that you see on our sponsor board is 10% off, except for the batteries that's done at Watts Cycle is 6% off. You use TSO 6 on those. But and Pepsi Cola, I didn't even ask them because they're not going to 10% off on their Pepsis. But we really appreciate that, and use these things, guys. I mean, and use these guys. They're great guys. They want you to catch fish. They don't say they have pressure on ourselves because it's because
if you've ever fished, you put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't want a captain that didn't think about not what happens if you don't catch a fish or whatever. I want them to be thinking hard and try to figure it out. I mean, it's a tough thing to do out there sometimes, especially when they're on spawn, because you got half the fish to catch that you normally did, and so they're spread out more, and it's a challenge to do that. So. But now the bait you use, of course, you like to catch skipjack, but those guys then. But you said lately you've been using a lot of spots.
Yeah, spotted bass. I've been using some gizzard shad as well, and I've been doing a little bit of the chicken stuff. But I feel like it's a little early still for some reason. Now that we've kind of had this cooler weather. The water temps I think have dropped a little bit, and I still feel like it's just a little early for the chicken drift
We call that Blackberry winter.
Yeah, it's gonna pick up though. But yeah, skipjack had been very hard to get this year for whatever reason. And I think I've only caught maybe like 7 or 8 skipjack this entire year.
Wow.
But I've been able to use other stuff, so crappie, spotted bass, shellcracker, bluegill, white bass, yellow bass, and then all those will work too, and
that's exactly what we pretty much use all the time. And I haven't seen a skipjack on my hook since last year. Of course, I can't catch them now. So I told everybody when I go to the gathering, I'm just going to be taking people out and letting them fish because there ain't no fishing with me. I did leave. Me and Randy and Cody went out last Friday, and I did reel in 2, but I left the rods in the rod holder, and I just gave her the old one hand.
How's your shoulder been doing?
And he reeled in them fish. He reeled in them little fish.
Why you gotta go there, Randy?
We caught 4 fish that were under 10 pounds, and Daryl caught 2 of them.
Why would that happen? How they treat me? Look, who took and hooked one for you and just let you have the rod at least? Come on, man. Why you gotta go there?
Cody did.
You over there busy doing whatever, and I was like, hooked one up, said, "Here, come get this," and I can't get it up. So
yeah.
I mean, at least I was. Man, see how good a guy I am. These guys, I mean, they couldn't catch a cold if they had to. I take them out fishing and show them everything. And it's just the way it is. So, anyway, Steve, you got any questions for me? You're awful quiet over there tonight.
Oh, I was just listening because that's all new to me, fishing in big old rivers. We don't have nothing like that out here in Utah. So it was just cool listening to trying to figure out how they're doing it all.
You guys got flatheads out in Utah though, right?
No, we just got channel cats and mud cats or whatever they call them little things, bullheads.
Oh, okay. You sure don't have any flatheads out there? Like, no. Really? Okay. I mean, channel cats can be fun.
He's a carp fisherman.
Oh, you like the carp fish? Okay, now that's a topic to talk about.
I only just started chasing them just last year, and that was just to compete with these other guys because we don't have nothing big out here except for carp. So I learned how to fish them real fast.
Yeah, I do the European style of carp fishing using method feeders and hair rigs and all that
Just
stuff.
started using them, and I love it.
Yeah, they're very it's as I tell people, carp fishing is more like an art when it comes to the European style of fishing. I mean, you can use a small little hook and put corn on there and catch them too, but doing the European style, which is you're using the pack bait, you're making the pack bait and then you're putting on the method feeder, and then you got to have what I call the prize in the cereal box, which is like the boilie or the tiger nut that you put on the hair rig, and then you put it in the pack bait. It's fun. Like it's different. It's more like an art with it all and how you're doing everything, and that's good. Yeah, that's good that you're doing that because carp are a very underrated fish, very powerful.
I couldn't agree more.
So.
But yeah, I'm a trout guy by nature, like, because that's what we have the majority out here. So, like I
Yeah, a
said, I'm
lot of
just
people.
adding more to my
Yeah, a lot of
personal.
people hate them, but they don't realize when you get one that's like, I don't know, 25, 30 pounds or even bigger, it changes you a little bit. You kind of learn to really appreciate them. They're more like bricks. Like they don't get big in their length, they really get big in their gut. So they're really kind of hard to hold up a little bit. So I mean they'll definitely give you a run for your money.
Oh, I agree. They're starting to be my new favorite fish.
Yeah, and you should see if you have mere carp in your area too.
We do.
Okay.
I've been catching a few of them. So we got mirrors and common, and then gazillions of different trouts. And
Yeah, I don't count the
bass
grass
and stuff.
carp as one of the. I mean, it's a carp, but grass carp are more. They're more like pond. They're more for ponds and all
We don't
that
even have
stuff.
them here. Just common and mirrors. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
He's fishing stocked ponds. What are you talking about?
Oh well,
you just like
like
to
yeah,
stay
I
that.
took the
Totally
river.
don't. You don't. That's
That's
cool.
where you've been fishing. That's where. Yeah, you're right. That's where Daryl takes you.
Yeah. So Stan's asked the question for both of you. What trip is more rewarding for them? A trip where they get right on the fish, or a trip where they have to bust their butt to figure out and finally get on the fish or on a big fish?
I guess I'll start off there. A lot of my trophy trips, I like when we catch that fish right away in the first hour or two, and then even the guests will just say like pressure's off, everything's a bonus from here, and then usually more good things happen when there's not as much. You're not trying to rack your brain as much and think you can just relax and you don't worry yourself so much. So I think that's always better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had fish right off the bat, big ones, and kind of like what Dan said, the trip is kind of made. But I like it more though when you're having to really work for it because I feel like it's more rewarding and it's just you're having to persevere throughout the trip and just having the grit to really hang in there, have a good attitude about it, staying positive, staying hopeful, optimistic. The clients really see that. They see that you're working your butt off so much, to find that fish. And I mean, guys, I've had it happen at the very end where it's like, yeah, let's just try one more spot. Okay. And then a rod goes down, peeling drag. You're like, oh yeah, this is the one right here. This is the one, and you just get excited and then it all comes together right at the very end. So I always feel like I would prefer that in a way, just because it's stressful because you're having to go throughout the entire trip like, oh gosh, are we gonna find the one fish or not? But that's trust the mystery. That's probably the biggest thing that I like about anything in life is trust the mystery. Like just go in there because you don't know what's going to happen, but if you trust it and have that confidence, I'm telling you, it goes a long way.
Follow your gut feeling too. Yeah. So anybody else in chat have any questions also for the guys? I mean they don't mind answering questions for sure.
That was a good question by Two Stands. That was a really good question.
You know, I guess our biggest, me and Woody's funnest time we ever had was, it wasn't persevering really. We had was last year in January, we were on the fish all day long, and then we decided to go to one last spot. Hey, let's go down here because the flow's just right, and everything's perfect for that spot down there. Let's go down there, and that's when we caught the 101.5 pounder and a 44.5 pounder all at the same time. And that was the last spot we was going to go. We was already wore out, and then it was just bam, and it was like end of the day. It had already been a great day, and that was just like cherry on top.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was definitely a special memory for you guys.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it was the best day we could ever have. I mean, we caught 12 fish before that, and we didn't care who was going to reel it in because, like I said, it was my turn. I was like, here, get that. I messed with it. And it turned out to be the 100-pounder. But, you know, and while he's fighting that, another rod goes bit down, bam, it's a 44, and you've got two huge in the boat with you. And that was
yeah.
I don't think I'll ever forget that moment, you know, of that, just that last fish, that last spot, and it's just monsters like that. So it's just
monsters.
Great. Yeah, monsters. That's what it's all about. And like I say, and you know, that's huge on that. But you know, if it would have been a monster 25-pounder was like a huge fish in that river, that would have been just as good. So I think sometimes we get caught up in sizes, and it's because just where we fish at. But gosh, wherever you fish at, whatever's a big fish there, that's the trophy of it all anyway. So.
Well, me and my dad grew up fishing Tennessee River and different lakes and all around. And he and I have been having a lot of conversations about the fact that we're catching the size fish that we're catching now. You know, and we didn't catch many of those fish when I was growing up. He says, what are you doing different now? And I start telling him, but you know, I got to take him out and show him in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But you know, you take Saturday, we had one fish over 40 pounds and one over 30, another one over 30. You know, that if you took those two out, we still had a killer day.
Yeah, you can easily get spoiled out there too. I think, you know, the main thing to remember, and this is just for everybody, is, you know, be grateful, you know, for any fish that you're catching, because I don't know, I feel like fishing is the one thing that really, there's a kid in every single one of us when we fish, in a way, you know what I'm saying? And it's the one thing that I feel like you can, you know, be like a kid in a candy shop when it comes to reeling in fish. But yeah, being grateful and just having the opportunity to do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when I first started going up the Tennessee River, all I could think of was going catching big catfish. And I would get up there and I'm like, I gotta catch this bait. And I would be frustrated. Now I've slowed down over the year, and we enjoy even catching the bait, finding them, looking for. And I don't know, that may sound weird to people.
Well, for me, I used to think like that, but for me, my expectation is to chase the big catfish, not to catch it, but to chase it. So, like, right. I don't know, I've enjoyed the thrill of really looking for it and chasing it, and then seeing if it happens or not. I don't know. It's just kind of changed my psychology on that a little bit. The more I've just done trips, and you know, because that's what it's about. It's, you know, is it the one that got away, or you know, there's a fishtail with stuff like that, and I don't know. Like, just I think the chase is what excites me a little more than just holding this expectation over my head, like, oh, it has to happen. And so,
well, and I know I'm talking more with Joe, but just the trip where you and I can't remember the gentleman, you caught the big flathead that was all tangled up in the tree that time. That had to be so rewarding that you thought there was no way that was coming out. And you got in there, and you remember the trip I'm talking about, that hung up in the tree.
I think
And
so,
y'all
a
got
little
over there.
bit. Was that the trip that we first went on?
No, it was you and another guy. It wasn't me. It was a
Oh,
guy trip
okay.
that you and another guy went out on,
Oh
and Big
yeah, that's
Flathead
actually.
got
I think it was a Big Blue. There was one trip. It was in the winter time. It was like December 30th.
Yeah, maybe it was a Big Blue.
Yeah, it was a Big Blue, and I'm talking a down tree and like I think it was like 15 feet of water.
Yeah.
Current was ripping, and I could not get that fish out of that tree. And so the guy I had, he was a retired firefighter. And he was like, Joe, we're going to go in search and rescue mode right now. He's like, I need you to park your boat right into the tree. And I'm going to see if I can tear down some branches off and see if we can get it untangled. And man, he spent like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm just looking, I was like, Mark, like, it's like, wow, you really know what you're doing. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, we're going to get this fish. And because you could see the fish that was like almost halfway down. I was like, yeah, that's a big fish. That's like a 60 plus right there. And I just said, I just don't know if we're going to be able to get it. And, but yeah, that was definitely a memory there, team
Yeah.
effort. Like I had to keep the boat from like swaying even further into the tree because the current was ripping so hard. But yeah, that was the 74 pounder. That ended up that's still the client boat record in my boat, 74 pounds.
Yeah,
So,
you called me that day because you were so excited. That's why I was like, I know that's got to be one of
like, it was
them.
just
You were so
like,
excited about it.
I,
Called me,
I,
telling me
I,
about like, I don't know
yeah,
how
it
we
was,
did it.
yeah, I'm still like shocked. I'm like, I don't know how we did that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
but it all came together, that's just part of it, and part of, I mean, Dan can, agree too that like every trip is just special in some sort of way too, and it's the memories is what keeps you going,
Yeah. Then
honestly.
do you have something like that was just real memorable to you that you won't never forget, where you've took a client out and something's happened where you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's always something. Not to that extent, but even just this past weekend, where our river is just chock full of bait right now, white perch. We even have bunker coming up through the river, and there's striper feeding on them. There's bait balls everywhere, and these catfish they're coming in the boat throwing up. They're so gorged on this stuff, and we're dragging over big fish after big fish after big fish, and we're going at it for like 2 hours back and forth over the school fish, and they won't bite. And finally, one hooks up, and he's peel and drag, and he never had the hook. It's just like one of those things always happens, But we did catch another nice like 35 pounder, but who knows what that other one was?
Yeah.
And that's what
Don't you hate it when you have a hook turn into the bait and they're just holding on and they let loose and you get in there?
Yeah,
like,
flatheads do that a lot.
Oh, that just
Flatheads
drives
than
me
anything. It's like, geez, please.
Hey, what's your record on your boat? Dan?
My new boat record, I just had my boat in November, and we did one trip on it the fourth day I owned it, and it was a 68 pounder. So that was nice. And that was on a guide trip, actually. That was the first trip I had out on it. But it was that same kind of thing. We fished all day for, I think it was a 6-hour trip, and we worked our butts off, weren't catching fish, and we just sat in the high traffic area for the last hour and a half of the trip, and with literally 5 minutes left, the rod goes down, 68 pounder. You just never know.
That's awesome.
And it turned the whole day around.
Yeah. Joe's had I don't know how you got it on the boat. Caught by itself right at 90 pounds, 92 pounds. What was the?
I've had two in the 90s.
By yourself.
By myself. And then I've had a couple in the 80s. But as far as the client, it's 74 pounds. I did have a 72 earlier this year. That was the same day. We also had a 60. That was in February. And when I saw the 72, I was like, that's going to be close. But yeah, 74.
That's still a nice fish. I mean, especially, like I say, you're consistently getting those in the 30s and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I'm going to bring something up real quick. I know we're getting close to time to be done. So I know everybody's seeing the cash out rolling across there. So I need to talk about something real quick. And that is the reason that's rolling across there. This is an awesome board that was made by Mr. Nick Smith. and it's a Monopoly board, but I call it Fishopoly. It has all our sponsors on there. It even has Joe and Dan's logo
That
on
is
there.
really cool.
I like
Is
that.
that not cool? She burned all this in. This was done with burn in and then hand painted it. Took her 80 hours just to design this board.
So who did this, Daryl?
Miss V. Smith, she'll be at the gathering. And we're
Wow.
selling tickets on this. Like I say, it has you guys on there also. And so if you guys want to buy a ticket to try to win this thing, these things that custom built like this cost $1,000. It actually has, you can open it up, and that's where all the cards and the game pieces go. Her husband did that, Chris, and it is an awesome deal. She did this and surprised me with it, and I was like, man, it's so great.
Yeah, that's really neat. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Different ways. Yeah. And she, like I say, she did one and did not like it. And so she went back and redid it again because it was on a darker piece of wood. And so she didn't like that. So
What
she
kind of
did,
wood is it, Daryl?
this is a hard maple. She did it on a cherry, but it was a little dark. So she didn't like it. So she went back and did it on a lighter one where the reason is, but where the details of everybody's logo would show up a lot better. So she went in there and did it on a lighter board. So this is what it looks like now, trimmed in the cherry wood on the outside. I guess it is. It's a beautiful board. So if anybody wants to buy a chance on it, we're going to give it away the day of the gathering on Saturday.
Wow.
And so we'll take anybody who wants to buy tickets on it. Scrolling across the board is my PayPal and my Cash App, and it's $10 per ticket. And so far, we've only had like 15 tickets on it. So if somebody buys a ticket, you got a great chance of winning it. It's like I say, it has our logo and make dreams become a reality, and that's what we did with the gathering. And it's our little logo, our slogan is where everyone fits in, and that's so true about the gathering. Is it's a place where everybody fits in, and we get to talk with each other. And I'll bring you guys up on an update of the ranchero that I have that's sponsored by amongst the rod holders. We do I don't have a picture in here. I was going to get it in. I didn't get time. We have it with the rod holder in the back of the car of the ranchero, and we have the bull horns on the front of it. So we will be parking that right on the edge of the lake where we have rented all the campgrounds, and anybody that comes in can jump in the back of it, and hey, they can sleep in that thing, put a chair back there. But we should have that up and going in there. I went and I bought this just for that, and so I went and got insurance and a tag on it today, and I've got to do one little thing to it. I'm having a fuel problem, so I got to go put a brand new fuel pump on it. And like I say, it's just a fun vehicle. It's not worth thousands of dollars. It's a 74 Ranchero, but I think it will be fun for people to be in and fish out of. So that'll be there. But everybody can come. I think we'll have a great time. And if you don't come, you'll be missing something. But if you can't make it, I understand also. But if you want a ticket on the Ranchero, make sure to get that as soon as possible.
If you want a ticket on the Fishopoly board.
Yeah, what did I say, Ranchero?
You said you was giving away your Ranchero.
Well, I'm not giving that away.
That'll
I
work
promise
too.
you. We are giving away the board. And I say thank you to our many sponsors here. This is our corporate sponsors. For giving door prizes, for giving money to keep this thing going. If it was not for you guys, we couldn't do what we do. This year we are catering in barbecue, guys. This is not this weekend, but next weekend, guys. We cater in barbecue. We got barbecue set up for 150 people, and he's bringing extra just in case. Thank you to our YouTubers that have also give. We really appreciate all you guys that helped us out and paid to be on the banner also. But this year we have barbecue. We're going to have more door prizes than we know what to do with, and that's great. Always good. And like I say, we appreciate everybody that has given, and we're having the big fish contest. You will get those up at Pavilion 4 on Monday morning.
Nope, on Friday morning.
Friday morning, excuse me. I'm going to be there on Monday morning. Thank, keep me straight now. Keep me
That's
straight.
what I'm trying to do.
There you go.
Trying. It's kind of hard.
It'll be 8 a.m. I'm over here trying to do two things with you. We'll be there at 8 a.m. on Friday. You'll get a number. It'll have all the rules on the back of it for the biggest fish. And then it'll end on Sunday at 12 o'clock. It doesn't cost a thing to get in that. And
Hey, Daryl, you
Yes,
do
sir.
realize that you have to check out of the campground by 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, what I generally do is go up to Pavilion 4 and sit there until 12.
Okay.
I probably should change it and make it to 11, but anyway, no, I've already said it, so I'm not going to change it. I'll change it next year, but till 12 o'clock on Sunday. And so we'll give away $1,000 to the biggest fish. We're giving $500 to second place. We're giving $250 to third place. We're giving $125 to fourth place and $75 to fifth place. We're paying back 5 places, and all this is free. We are not we're not charging anything. All we've done all year is gotten donations and sponsors that's paid for all this, and we appreciate everybody so much. We're also going to be giving out, got these ordered. Like I say, we want to give everybody a souvenir, so we have. I ordered 100 of these, the gathering towels, so we'll be giving those out also, along with the door prizes. I can just almost guarantee everybody that comes is going to get a door prize for sure. So I will not be able. I caught a lot of bait last year. We gave out over 200 skipjack last year, but of course I've been in this for a month and almost 5 weeks now, so not able to get out and get none. So you guys get out and hunt your own bait, or go to. You can go to Jack's Bait and Tackle. They had skipjack last I knew, so hopefully they'll still have it. A lot of different places. I know Josh. I know Pontoon Jody said there was a guy maybe bringing some gizzard shad down also. So, but I say get out and get you some worms and crickets and catch you some bluegill or whatever, guys. I mean, they're going to hit it if you get it in front of them.
Got a chance for a flathead too if you're using bluegill this time.
Yep, absolutely.
So
the only thing with the big fish contest is you just have to catch it on the river system. From Nickajack down to up to Chickamauga is where we make it from. So anyway, any guys, any questions or anything you want to tell before you leave, Joe?
thanks for having us on there. I really appreciate it. And just thank you so much for everything you're doing to put this event on, and for everybody else that's helping sponsor and everything. It takes a village to do all this stuff. So it's just really amazing to see how it's getting bigger every year, and just the outreach and the support. It's just, it's really neat. So
I appreciate you being one of the very first sponsors and jumped on and go, yep, let's do this thing, and I'll help you.
absolutely.
You've done
Absolutely.
it every year, and I appreciate that, buddy. You know what you mean to me. And like I say, Joe's the one that inspired me. I watched videos on how to catch fish on the Tennessee River and looked at what he did, and basically did bought the same type tackle and did the same thing, and went up there and duplicated what he did and learned how to catch fish. And guys, if you want to learn something, go on YouTube and look at how people fish in your area. If you don't know, find these guys that go out there and constantly catch fish and see how they're doing it, and you can do it too. If you'll pay attention, and if you're real meticulous, and especially when you get out there on that water and you start paying attention to how you caught that fish, when you start learning, I'm telling you, you'll be able to catch fish. You have to be meticulous on looking at how you do it, and but you can do it. And thank you, Joe. You've meant a lot to me. Dan, your first year, buddy. I appreciate you. Hopefully one day I'm gonna get up there to the James River. That's on my bucket list, and meet you, and we can have a good time. Hopefully one time you can come to the gathering. It's a really good time that everybody enjoys.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Wish I could make it down this year. I hope you guys have an awesome time. Looks like it's set up really well, and I'm sure it's going to go great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. Randy, you got anything else, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh yeah, you got to talk about the tournament this weekend. Go ahead, brother. It's all your floors is yours.
Okay, don't forget about the Wally World Whiplash tournament this weekend. You got to use your little Walmart Ozark Trail Wayfarer rod, and you get to use the 8-pound test line that's rail spooled with, and it's for the biggest fish. And we've got some guys going for big fish, and we've got some guys with enough experience that they'll catch some big fish. It's going to be on 2 Stands channel and on Burrito Catfishing Ladies channel, and she will be fishing the tournament as well as hosting. So we're working on getting stuff on the boat set up now where that she can do that, but we're getting that tournament going. Hey, if you win, it's the only tournament I've ever seen where the sponsor of it, River Cats Tackle, is putting this tournament on, and he says you can't use one of our rods. However, you can win one of his rods if you catch the biggest fish.
You could use his hooks.
That's right, and that's what
Hey,
I
Mike
did.
just came in today.
Good. But that's a great thing. Get out there and have fun. We're showing this weekend that you don't have to have super high dollar stuff to go out here and catch a fish.
Right.
That's our deal.
I love tournaments like this, just like the Dock Runner. Hey, we showed you could catch a 33-pound blue cat on a dang stock Dock Runner, 2 weeks ago. It's fun, guys. Hey, it'll test your skills too all at the same time. It took us 20 minutes to get that rascal in, but you can do it if you set that drag right and do the right things.
The tournament will run from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that way we ain't sitting out there in the middle of the sun as late in the day.
Yeah.
The tournament is Saturday, and so come watch us, come enjoy it, come fit. I hope you're already registered for it. If not, you're out of luck this time. We've got other tournaments coming up though.
Well, it says let's see. Somebody just put in there and said it's not just catfish; it's the biggest of any fish.
Biggest fish, anything. We've got guys that are fishing saltwater this weekend.
Oh dang!
Holy smokes! Are you crazy?
We got guys that are fishing for 50, 40, 50, 60-pound fish with 8-pound test line, and they're gonna show you how to chase a fish with a boat.
I showed them that last week. Oh, well, that's awesome! Great deal. So everybody tune into that. That's going to be on 2 Stands channel and Burrito
Catfishing
Lady channel. So that'll be great.
We got something else to talk about too, real quick.
Okay.
We've got 2 other sponsors that were supposed to be up here tonight, and we need to at least name them, and that's Tennessee River Adventures.
Yes.
They're also a guide service down in the Chattanooga area. We got Creole Catfishing, which is down in Louisiana on the Mississippi and Appalachia or whatever, different things down there. Jeremy with Creoles will not be taking reservations for a couple, 3 more months because he ain't got everything together yet. He's got his new boat in, but he doesn't have all the stuff that he's got to have. But, I don't know anything about Tennessee River Adventures, but
great guy. Aaron is a great guy.
But Aaron's helping us out with the gathering. Aaron's helping us out, by supporting us and supporting the gathering, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, and also one more real quick thing we didn't talk about, and it's because these sponsors couldn't be with us. Guard Dog. You want to talk about that real quick, Steve?
Yes, sir. So we got the Guard Dog, one of the coolest products I've ever seen in the whole time I've been fishing. This is an automatic hook stagger. This thing has just changed the way of fishing. It's super easy. It's made out of aircraft aluminum. It's got a very the sensitivity trigger on it, so you can adjust your sensitivity. Patent pending, made in America. Dude, this thing is 100% a game changer. If you don't got one, you need to get one. And I mean, I can't say enough about this. Me and Daryl are both pro staff.
Yeah.
TSO 10 will save you 10%. Hooker 10 will save you 10%. But like I said, this is one of the coolest products I have ever seen. And you can hook it to your rod holder, set it in there, and forget about it, basically. I mean, that is one amazing fishing tool
Yeah.
right there.
And what we talk about a lot is, you know, everybody's doing YouTube or looking at their phones or whatever. These can be used on a boat in different situations, especially if you're anchoring. Bank fishing for sure. They're the top thing in bank fishing. And if you see little holes at the bottom, that's the way you set sensitivity. You don't put the line through that. The certain way you tie that line on will make it tight on there, and you'll slide that. If you're fishing for bluegill, you're going to want it a lot lighter than if you're fishing for a carp or a catfish or anything like that. And these things really work. I've got videos on them. Actually, one of the commercials is that they use is us catching a fish on a video. And I was actually doing a live talking to the audience, and all of a sudden, pling, it went off, and I heard it go off, and I wouldn't have known a fish was biting because I was shooting some bull, as I say. And had I not heard that thing go bling and turned around, and it hooked the fish for me and just ran back there and started reeling in. They're an awesome deal for people these days that look at their phone all the time, for sure.
Right. And Daryl, he said it was for the bank and the boat. Dude, I've caught fish on my boat, bank, ice fishing.
Yeah.
I've caught 14 different species of fish on this thing. Everything from tiny little mud cats all the way up to, you know, the carp and stuff like that. I mean, this thing is very, very versatile. I mean, I swear by this thing. It took me from being right here to clear up winning tournaments. I mean, this is a must-have. If you got kids, I mean, if you don't want to look at your rod, this is, they say put a guard dog on duty. Oh, this is going to take care of all that for you. This is a game changer, 100%.
Yeah. And I'll say Mr. Monty is one of the nicest guys. And I'll say this, he's had to take a break from doing it there. He's got a partner that's doing it also. Keep him in your prayers. He's lost 2 kids in the span of a year. That's got to be hard. Nobody wants to bury their son, but to bury 2 in a year at separate times is really hard. And he's going through some hard times. And, you know, I know God won't put more on you than a man can handle. And we always wonder why things happen. But, you know, we keep faith, and we need to always try to keep faith, and prayers will be answered. So keep him in your prayers. He's had a really hard year, and it's been bad. Also, one other person that we haven't had on is Mr. Dan with Catfish Sumo. And so Catfish Sumo is a sponsor and has been a sponsor of every gathering except for one. So, guys, I didn't mean to go like that. Let's see. There we go. Catfish Sumo has sponsored the gathering every year. He is an innovator. He takes something and tries to make it better. He takes like lead sinkers and puts a liner in it where it won't rub on your line and scar it. He takes hooks, and he don't only just make it like everybody else. He makes it with a wider barb at the bottom. There's so many different things that he's done for innovation. He now has sinkers that if they get hung up, because he's a fisherman too, they'll actually break. He makes what he calls breakaway sinkers. That's just the latest thing that's come out. Also, no tie spooks that you don't have to tie. The line goes through them. There's so many different things that he does to be different, to change, not to make it better. So, guys, go to that. All these products you can put TSO 10 in and get 10% off. Remember, with Catfish Sumo, when you look at the price, that's the price. There's no shipping in it. He's really looked at all that, and I know a lot of people, they'll put stuff in the cart and they go over there and they go $26 to ship this little bit of tackle, and then they start taking things out and or giving it up. But this, when you put it in there, you're going to pay a sales tax, and that's it. So we appreciate that. Anything else, guys? I want to make sure you got those in. All right, Joe, Dan, thank you very much. Thank you for backing for sponsoring our gathering, for coming on here. Hey, for being good stewards out there fishing and taking people fishing and teaching them how it's done and giving them a good time, guys. I appreciate you. And thank you, everybody out in chat that's came in. We appreciate what y'all. Dom said he's bringing some skipjack. Good, I need some, brother. But hey, everybody, I hope to see you at the gathering. We will have a show on Wednesday night. I will be up in the campground because I'll be there Monday. Actually, tonight I'm going to try to get the thumbnail put together. And Randy and Steve will broadcast from home, and I'll either be broadcasting from the boat or from the campsite, one or the other. So
either way, it'll be fun.
There you go. We'll have a great time. Well, hey, I promise you this: if I'm at the campsite, I'll still have some lines out in the water for sure. So,
for sure.
So we love everybody. If you want to get some tickets on that great Fishopoly board, hey, the Cash App is running across in the PayPal. You guys have a great day. Until next week, we'll see you later. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. See you, Randy. See you, Steve. See you, Daryl. See you, Dan.
See you, buddy.
Easy.
See you guys.